Coffee with milk, please.
We only have plant milk. Is that okay?
Stop! It's not okay. And if something like this has happened to you, you need to call me, Seymour Loudermilk, right now. If you've had your feelings hurt by a vegan, you could be entitled to compensation.
Oat milk, soy milk, almond milk?
No thanks. I'll have louder milk. And I'll see you in court.
Get more with Seymour. Call 866-HATE-VEGANS. HateVegans.com.
Good evening.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm alright. I am eating.
Oh, what are you eating?
I'm eating little strudel with custard. Not strudel. What's it called?
Turnover.
Marzipan, bready, raisiny, Christmassy thing. Stollen.
Disgusting.
Stollen and custard. You might not like it. I do, so I'll have yours.
You'll have to be careful in case you get arrested for handling stolen goods and taken to custody.
Hey!
Ba-boom.
So yeah, how are you?
Yeah, I'm all right. Thanks very much. Yeah, all right. That's as good as I can go with that.
Fair enough.
Yeah. I've got a conundrum for you. What's the difference between black-eyed peas and chickpeas?
I mean, black-eyed peas have got an eye on them. Haven't they?
Yeah. Black-eyed peas can sing us a song, but chickpeas can only hum us one.
Fuck off. Now, what are you on this evening, man?
Oh, I saw that on a post on Facebook earlier, and I thought that's just the sort of thing that we need to lighten the mood on this difficult week.
Yeah. And it is a difficult week, but we're not going to talk about that, are we?
We're not a political podcast. I can't even say a political podcast, let alone be one. So
No.
this isn't the rest is politics or anything else. It might be the rest is fucked, but it's not the rest is politics. So there we go. Anyway. Have you seen the lineup for next year's vegan camp out?
No, I haven't.
I might get cancelled for saying this.
Oh.
It's not very inspiring to me.
Doesn't surprise me. You messaged me the other day. Sarah Pascoe's on. That's pretty cool. She's
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Honestly, that's it.
Yeah.
And then I saw a post from Bosch, which says they're doing a DJ set.
I'd rather not go.
And that's put me off going for the whole weekend.
Yeah. I mean, them doing a
last time
DJ,
it was awful.
them doing a DJ set would probably be quite good. Just if their mate turns up.
Oh yes, yeah. That was There we go.
Going on a journey.
So anyway, maybe one to skip next year, but we'll see.
Yeah. I've been watching my new favourite vegan in the world. I have the stupidest man crush ever.
Go on, tell us who.
Gaz Oakley's YouTube.
Oh
my god.
Tell me more. Why? What's he done?
Mean, should I put this out there? I'd go gay for that man.
You don't really get to choose. I think it's. I mean, either you are or you're not.
Well, yeah, but
maybe there's just some acceptance that needs to be made there.
Me and Michelle were just saying he's like watching his YouTube is a bit like Nigella at Christmas. There's all these. Well, she used to put them in intentionally. I'm not sure he's putting them in intentionally, but there's so many innuendos. It's like it's ridiculous.
Fantastic.
But he's a good-looking man as well.
I mean, that helps.
Yeah.
I guess people who listen to us must think the same, but
I doubt it.
No, that's why we're audio only.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I saw our friend Greg last weekend at Urchester Park Run.
Yes.
Well, I was doing my 100th park run.
Wow.
And we had a chat, and he said, "Thanks very much for the support, and don't forget to listen out, listener, to Greg's advert with a code where you can get 20% off anything on his website, including now handbags,
Ooh.
cork handbags, two-tone wallets, belts, everything you would possibly want, and don't forget." It's kindness accessorized.
Hi, it's Greg from episode 7 of the How I Vegan podcast. Last year, I started an accessories brand called Assisi Style, creating belts and wallets from cork, a wonderful natural leather alternative that's both vegan and sustainable. So far, I've designed belts and wallets in classic black and brown, with a new two-tone wallet and 2 new handbag designs on the way just in time for Christmas. Each piece comes in a stylish gift box, so they make the ideal gifts for hard-to-buy-for vegans. Visit my website, assisi.style, to view the current range. That's ASSISI.style. Use the voucher code HELLO20 for an extra 20% off our already discounted prices on your first order. Assisi Style. Kindness accessorized.
Okay, our guest in this episode has been mentioned by no fewer than 2 of our previous guests as their own vegan inspiration. Our guest is Dana. She set up the Vegan Kids Festival, a weekend event for families with activities for children and adults alike. 2024's lineup included appearances by Beth Munroe, Vegan Queen V, and our guest in episode 58, author of the Vivi the Super Vegan books, Tina Newman. Next year, the Vegan Kids Festival will be taking place between August 22nd and 24th at Woodhouse Activity Park in Bristol, and tickets are on sale now at vegankidsfestival.co.uk. Welcome, Dana.
Hello.
Thank you for joining us, and please tell us all about Vegan Kids Festival. Where did that? What's the origin story?
So I used to own a vegan shop, and I was kind of coming to the end of my tether with it. And I was actually a little child walked into the shop. She was about 12 or 14, and she sort of said to me, "I really want to go vegan, but my parents won't let me." And she was kind of like looking at some vegan products, and I was helping her. And I kind of thought, oh, that's really sad. Like, there's kids out there that want to be vegan, but obviously are not able to because of their parents. And my own kids were, I think, I can't quite remember at the time when I had the idea. It was 2019, so quite a while ago now that the first idea kind of came to me. And I thought, wouldn't it be great to kind of get a community together where my kids and loads of other kids that are vegan can meet, share ideas, become, friends with these people, lifelong friendships, so that, because my kids at the time were at school and they were, the only vegan in the whole school, actually. So they up until the age they started school, it was kind of normal because they were at home with us and being vegan. And as soon as they started school, they suddenly realized, oh, I'm completely the odd one out here. And I think, as adults, we kind of understand that ourselves. We often get into situations where we're adults, we can connect with other vegans on social media, but actually for kids, they don't really have that, especially the younger aged ones. And I just really wanted to create a place where they knew that they weren't the only vegans in the world. I wanted them to not just think, oh, my mummy and daddy's just obviously a bit weird. I wanted them to really normalize veganism and make it like a really empowering place for them to feel part of this greater movement that maybe, we can feel through social media, but kids potentially can't. So that was kind of where the idea came from.
Wow. That's incredible. And so what were this? So that's 2019, did you say? Yeah. So that's 5 years ago. What was the sort of scale of the festival that first year then?
So in it was 2018 I first had the idea, because the first festival was going to run in 2019. But it actually ended up getting cancelled because we had this it was so ironic, because the whole point of doing the festival was to become normalized and create a community of like kindness. And it actually ended up getting cancelled by the village we were running it in, because a couple of the residents really took dislike to this festival. And even though we had licensing in place and everything, they actually they caused so much trouble for us, blackmailing landowners, all sorts of things. The actual council were on our side, but the amount of trouble they caused for us, the landowner was like, I don't want this for my elderly father who's part of the landowner, and they ended up pulling out, I think like 4 months before the event. So it was a bit of a, it was like, it was an oh god moment. And I just I kind of meditated on it at the time, and I was thinking, what do I do? And in the end I thought, I'm just going to cancel the event. But in a way, it was actually saving grace, because the weekend we were due to have it that year was the weekend that all the festivals had to cancel. So actually cancelling further out, like 4 months out, was a better move for us than had we have cancelled on the weekend, because that probably would have completely bankrupted me and never been able to do it again. So it was kind of a blessing in disguise, I guess, like looking back in retrospect. And then following on from that towards 2020, people were like, are you going to do it next year? You can do it next year. And I was kind of like, oh, I don't know. And I'm kind of glad again I didn't, because we all know what happened in 2020.
God, you must have been thinking, okay, this is never going to happen.
Yeah, so I literally put it to bed. I was like, this is not a thing that's going to happen. I've had too many things. So I actually, during COVID, I started this like online club for kids, where every week we'd like meet up during the COVID time when we were doing everything online, we started getting a bit of a community together. And it was kind of like at that point that people started saying to me, oh, there's a couple of people I was still in touch with who thought about doing the festival. And I was like, oh no, honestly, like I can't, like, but eventually enough people were saying it that I started thinking, oh, maybe I should, like. So I think the first year was, would have been 2022. So we ran a couple of like events in 21, like very small scale. Like we had an open day at a sanctuary and a family fun day, and we ran a residential for some kids. So we ran like a couple of events, and then the first festival was actually in 2022. So it was a bit of a long path to get there, but we did get there.
Yeah, fantastic. What sort of numbers do you normally get at the festival?
So I think we started the first year. I always kind of like. I always felt like a lot more people were booking, and it isn't until like afterwards and I look at the numbers and I realise that it's not as many as I thought. So I think first year it was about 200, and then the next year was around like 350, and then this year just gone we were pretty much on 500. So it's growing slowly.
That's incredible.
It's quite nice. We don't want it to be big, and because the whole point of it is about making it a really safe space for kids and feeling, so it's not, when you think, like sometimes we mention festival, but it's probably not a traditional what you would call festival. If you compare it to something like Vegan Camp Out, it's not, they're not even on the same scale.
No, but
that's something we talked about a couple of years ago, wasn't it? I kind of don't like Vegan Camp Out now because it's so big, because it's so big and vast, and like it just doesn't feel as much of a community anymore, sort of, in a way.
Yeah, I do enjoy going. We generally help out in the kids area at Vegan Camp Out, and I do enjoy going there. But I know the first year I went to Camp Out, I didn't actually take my kids because I was a bit worried. They were a lot younger then. I was a bit worried about, drugs, drinking, and that was kind of another reason why I sort of wanted to do the kids one, because if people don't feel comfortable taking their kids into an environment where there is that. They've actually got at Camp Out now. I've kind of been there a couple of years. They've got an amazing family area, like run by my very good friend Laura. So it's if you could literally just go and stay in that area. So it's a different vibe anyway. So it's. So
you don't have to do drink and drugs at a festival, though, Dana.
Yeah.
That bit's always optional. You don't have to do it.
No, I know.
Just say no. Okay. No, that's awesome. So you mentioned Laura there. She's one of our previous guests who mentioned you as her one of her vegan inspirations, and she's quite a force to be reckoned with in terms of vegan education. And and Tina, obviously, I mentioned at the start as well, who's written the books as well. It feels like it's a really positive sort of group of you who are really helping out like you said, the young vegans who feel like they're the only ones, or who might
Yeah, I
feel
think
like they're the only ones.
that's definitely a mission, like between the three of us, is to kind of really kind of champion the vegan children sector.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't want to do it with any better people. They're super cool girls.
Excellent.
We went on holiday earlier in the year, and it was it was just the best.
Oh, brilliant. That's good. That's good. So, you mentioned you had a vegan shop before the festival. What's your vegan story? Where did it all begin?
So yeah, I mean, there's probably different points in my life where, like, maybe I was always a vegan and just didn't realize it until quite a lot later on, because, like, if I think back, like, early memories when I was a kid, I hated eating meat off the bone. Like I can even remember it now. And then even when I became older and I had to start preparing meat, I used to hate it. So there's obviously something there that I didn't like all along. And actually, my sister went vegetarian when I was a teenager, and I remember thinking she was a bit weird for it, really, at the time. But then I think, like, as I got older, I got really into scuba diving, and I started championing like shark conservation, and I really started campaigning. So, like, there was a bit of activism in me as well, because I was really campaigning for these sharks, and I used to go around restaurants and like try and get them to stop selling shark fin soup. Like, I just think I wasn't really properly thinking at any point. And then I remember a friend of mine got quite into like ethical, and I was kind of going through this. So when my shop opened, it was all around ethical products and like trying to source the best, because I was really into, like, you know, in terms of like basically anti-Amazon, like, you know, everything from like small producers that are sourcing and making things in the best way they can, helping very small businesses get themselves into the high streets. That was kind of the idea of my shop. And I remember having a discussion with a friend who was kind of on a similar journey, and I just kind of started finding out about milk, I think. And I remember saying to her, oh, I think I'm going to have to buy a cow, because I don't feel like, right, you know, I'm going to have to get my own milk from, because with the time we were sort of thinking she was having chickens, so I was getting her eggs from there. And then she says to me, oh, you'll have to get a baby too. And I was like, what? Like, I mean, it sounds so stupid now, but like, I mean, I think I'd even been like breastfeeding my own kids, and I still hadn't like properly put it together, you know.
Yeah.
But it was kind of all around that time as well, because I was becoming a breastfeeding mother myself, and you just start realizing, I think, suddenly, like, and it was kind of that moment, and I was like, oh. And for me, it wasn't actually like a quick, it was quite a kind of slow process. Actually, my husband was vegetarian when I met him, so I'd kind of already gradually started going towards vegetarian. I was pretty much vegetarian anyway, because it was just easier to eat like that. And as I said, I didn't really like preparing meat, so it was kind of like I'd kind of become a default vegetarian, but for not really any reason other than it was just convenient, I suppose. And then I think things had started, these, you know, and then once I got the shop, it opened as a vegetarian ethical shop. And then obviously it was drawing in vegans, and I started having conversations, and it was just like my world started getting more and more opened up to it all. And then I was kind of like the realization, and then I was like, well, I'm going to have to do something about this now. And I think I thought, like, I remember the first vegan I ever met when I was actually working for British Airways. And I can remember just like being that whole, like, I was quite like, oh my God, like, how do you live? Like, you know, I was very much in that mindset. I just didn't, I never thought I'd be able to do it. I never thought, you know, I love cake, I love chocolate. I was thinking there's no way that I could like give all this up. But then I kind of got to the point where I was like, well, actually, no, I have to, like, there's no way I can't give it up. And I think it sort of switched. And then funnily enough, my husband was obviously still vegetarian. The kids were kind of mostly vegetarian as well. They certainly were at home by this point. And I sort of said to my husband, I'm going vegan. And then I literally just like badgered him for like months. And I gave myself a year. I gave myself a year to transition, because I honestly thought that would take me. But actually I found it so much easier. And like within 4 months, I think I was fully vegan by then. And then I was like badgering my husband. With the kids, I left them a bit. I sort of, again, like at home, they would eat what we ate, but then outside for a period of time. And then actually my daughter was 4 at the time when I transitioned, and I think it was that Christmas, I'd gone vegan in January, it was that Christmas, and at a family Christmas they were handing out sweets, and she said, oh, are they vegan? And I was like, hang on.
Oh,
a 4-year-old saying.
you are listening to me.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. So yeah, so and then obviously best thing I ever did. And then once I'd gone vegan, then the shop became vegan. I mean, it was pretty much vegan anyway. Like the only things we were kind of hanging on to were honey and a couple of of our best-selling chocolate lines. But other than that, it was a fairly easy transition. So for the shop as well to go fully vegan.
That's amazing. What do you think was the biggest struggle through that process?
I didn't. I honestly found it so much easier than I thought. I really thought I would struggle, but I don't think I did. I think because I gave myself that time, it was easy to kind of, because I wasn't putting any pressure on myself to if I had to make a mistake, I was kind of like, well, I'm going through a transition period, so, and then obviously as soon as you start understanding what you can eat, it just became, and actually, to be fair, I did go vegan around the time when everything started booming into shops, and I was also obviously running my own shop, so if I ever needed anything sourcing, I think it was just before the supermarkets were, my shop was kind of at its peak, because obviously once the supermarket did start selling products, that was when my shop really took a nosedive. But I don't necessarily I always sort of look at the shop as that was a period in my life and it served its purpose at the time. I'm quite grateful, I think, now that the supermarkets are so well stocked. So it was kind of as I was kind of discovering veganism, more and more of these products were becoming available. So the transition was, becoming easier and easier. And then it just, so I kind of learned as I went along. But I don't really remember there ever being any I just remember it being much easier than I thought.
That's amazing.
Fantastic. Love that. So what did your friends and family think about it when you told them?
Well, obviously, my husband was obviously, he was pretty much halfway there anyway, being a vegetarian. And then I just literally, every time he opened the fridge, I was just you're killing a cow. And so it was kind of
really subtle sort of
stuff. No, I was really I was you just can't justify it, because me and my husband are both quite ethical, moral driven people, so there's no way he could avoid it. But obviously he went vegan. I think I can't remember how long after me, but it was fairly soon. It was definitely within that year. It might have even been the same time as the kids did at Christmas, around about Christmas time, because he had this thing. The first time he went vegetarian, he had one last Christmas dinner at his mum's at Christmas, and then I think he became a vegetarian when he was 19. So he's been all of his adult life, he's been a vegetarian.
Wow.
I think he did the same with the vegan. He had one last vegetarian. Right. It was one, because his thing is that he really misses, because he was big into his cheese and eggs, and he had one last egg meal or something, and then he had to mark his veganism in some way.
Yeah. Brilliant.
I to be honest, friendship wise, I think I've kind of drifted away from all of my pre-vegan friends, and I've kind of created a new generation of friendships. Because obviously with the shop, I kind of had the friendship circle in there that were sort of vegan, and so I kind of moved over from my non-vegan friends to vegan friends pretty much, and that just kind of was a process that's kind of happened naturally as well, I suppose. And any kind of new friends, I'm not one of those quiet vegans that's shy and retiring, so most people know I'm vegan. I don't hide behind a bushel.
Can we be friends? Are you vegan? No. Do what?
Yeah.
I do have non-vegan friends, but they all know I'm vegan and quite vocal about it. So
they're all buried under the patio.
God no.
So, did you find that anything sort of changed physically or mentally when you made that change?
Yeah, well, the main change that I've definitely noticed, and my son was 2 when he went vegan, and he'd obviously been vegetarian from birth. And up until recently, I think he has only just had his first cold now, and he's 10. And for me, it's definitely something I notice as well. If I have been ill, I've not had any of that, in the head coldy type, catarrhy, mucusy stuff. I just don't seem to get that anymore. I was also, I've been a lifelong anemic. And weirdly enough, when I was vegetarian, I was probably at the worst. But now I've gone vegan, actually, my anemia has improved a lot, which is not what you would
Wow.
expect.
And anemia is low iron, isn't it? Is that
Yeah.
right? Is that one? Yeah. Well, yeah, which is, you'd think, what? How can that be?
Yeah,
Where'd you
well,
get your iron?
I think I've read that milk actually depletes your iron stores or something around. There's some research around that, so that would make sense why when I was vegetarian it was worse, and now I'm vegan, it's got better. So,
Wow, that was
so maybe
amazing.
I'm eating more greens when I'm vegan as well.
Yeah.
I don't know, but what else have I noticed that's changed? I think I've just generally, around that piece on community as well. Like I've really found my people, and almost feels like I found I found my purpose, and I just feel, I just love everything since becoming vegan. Like it's just, for me, it's literally probably the best thing that's ever happened to me. That and home educating my children are two of the best decisions I've made in my life, I think.
Yeah, welcome to the club on that one.
Yeah, they we did that over COVID as well. So we just come out of school. And
how do you find the home editing life? Obviously, you just said you loved it, but how do you sort of?
Yeah, I mean, again, it was that sort of, it's taken that. I mean, obviously, we were all thrown into home educating our kids over COVID, so. I think I'd always, always been a secret closet home educator, and probably not confident enough to make that decision from first off. But once I got to that, being forced to do it, I suddenly realised how much I loved it. I mean, I was completely the opposite of everyone else over COVID. I was loving spending the time with my kids because I'm a workaholic normally, and I just spent I didn't have to work. I spent so much time with my kids. It's funny enough, my shop, talking about like serendipitous timing, my shop actually closed in January 2020. Again, another great decision in hindsight that I didn't realise, but because I would not have wanted to go through all of that during COVID and having to manage a shop. That would have been probably, again, that would have really. So I've kind of had these good timing swings. So I was kind of in a position to spend time with my kids and being locked away, like it was just the best. And then again, that journey of learning curve with the home ed of learning on as you go and things getting better and easier the more I've done it. And yeah, I mean, now my daughter's kind of just started what would be high school, which I kind of thought maybe that would be a time I'd send her back as well. But as I've done the home education, it's just realised that this is the best for them, actually, that they get to follow their passions, their dreams, and they get the opportunities they get are actually pretty cool, because we've got quite a nice community of home ed around us.
It's all about freedom, isn't it? That's what we do with our kids. It's just allowing them to figure out what they want to do for themselves.
Yeah.
Instead of being forced into like what that national curriculum says you've got to do, and then they've got to do 10 subjects, of which 6 of them they'll probably hate, but they've still got to like get grades in them. It's rubbish.
I know, it's they don't even they need like 5 GCSEs or something to get into college. So why they're making them do 10 all in 1 year is like, seems like way too much pressure for me. And especially when they don't really need it.
100%.
Certainly, my daughter is not a fan of general school, and what makes it worse, Dana, is that Wes and I are brothers-in-law, and my daughter talks to his daughter every single day, and not every day, very often she says to me, "Why can't I be homeschooled like Jessie?" And I'll say, "Well, because me and Mum have both got full-time jobs and we're not at home. So, like, how would we fit that in? Or can I go and live with she? Because basically she hates the standard subjects. She's got passions in specific areas, and she throw herself into that. But it's like you were saying about having to learn these things that you're never going to use again. I was helping her with maths homework over half term last week, and we were doing it. We worked it out, and then she said, just looked at me and she said, "Have you ever used this?" And I was like, "No." I left school 30 years ago. I've never done algebra. And she was like, "So why am I doing it?" And I was like, because you'll get told off if you don't. That's it. It's insane.
Yeah, I have that.
But if you
argument with my kids a lot.
want to go on a career that you do need that in, then go learn it.
Crack on.
Go and do it.
But how many people go into a career like that?
Yeah.
That you need algebra or trigonometry or anything like that.
It is.
Yeah.
It is very the whole education system is another issue in this country. I think
is.
So inflexible.
It's sad
There we
because
go.
I think
All the
so many
podcasts.
kids are being failed as well by the system and particularly creatives. The system's not set up for creatives or anything like that. And my kids are definitely creatives. Like my daughter's big into performance and my son's big into art. And it's so nice to watch them when they find that passion. And like my daughter, because my daughter's obviously starting to think about GCSEs, and today we were actually doing some like practice kind of how to start writing for a GCSE exam, because that's kind of how you have to pass. There's certain ways you have to write questions and stuff. And I've always really struggled to get her to actually write what she needs to. But today she was kind of doing something based on drama and she finally cracked it. And I was like, yes, but it's because it was in the passion that she loves.
Oh, yeah.
So it's easy for her to, start thinking about that. So it's, and I love watching them kind of just create their own curriculums half the time. My son has recently got into making comics, and the stuff he does, like, I'm like, I don't know how he does this, but they go off and a lot of the time just end up teaching themselves. You just have to kind of trust. It's hard at first, I think, to trust that they will, because it feels unnatural, but give them enough space and freedom and they actually start coming into their own and finding their own passions and actually teaching themselves. And
incredible.
My daughter is like she's amazing at art. She's a really good artist. And she started doing digital art. And I was just like, why can't you just use a pencil and paper? You're really good at doing that. But actually watching her do the stuff on whatever program she's got is fascinating, because I'm like, I don't know how you're doing that. And then she creates this like amazing piece of digital art. And I'm like, oh no, that's really good actually. So go and run with it. If that's what you're into, go and do it,
Yeah, that's it.
Awesome.
Quite often in mainstream schooling, they can only do one of those sort of creative subjects.
Yeah.
It's either art or drama or dance or something along those lines, isn't it? Whereas obviously with home ed, you've got the flexibility to say, all right, let's do all of it.
Yeah. I mean, that happened to me.
Geography and history or something.
I was a creative, and I think in the box there was like religious education, there was drama, art, music, which clashed with drama, which was crazy because I literally wanted to do in a second language, because I was really into language. I wanted to do all 5 because I love religion. I love the study of religion. I find it quite interesting, and I could only pick one out of that 5. And then I ended up having to do like geography and home ec, and I was like, I've got no interest in geography and home ec. Like what?
Yeah,
it's nuts. So frustrating.
Yeah.
Okay. This is a vegan podcast, by the way. What's the best thing about being vegan?
I think it's that it comes down to that community again for me. Like it's finding my tribe. And also I suppose like being able to spread that passion to others. And I've just enjoyed the whole journey of it. I feel healthier from it. I feel mentally better from it because I feel like I've got that community, and obviously probably the most important thing is I feel like I'm doing something good for others, for animals and the planet, I guess, as well. So it's kind of like it's just
win-win all around.
Yeah.
Love that.
What is your favourite quick meal?
Oh, my favourite probably jacket potato. Put it in the slow cooker. And then my son, normally on a Wednesday, my son's got cubs, so it'll be cooking all day, and then we'll take it out. And there's so many different things you can just put in with jacket potatoes as well. I hate baked beans, so that's not me, but my family like baked beans. and they have to like eat it and cook it in a separate room because I literally can't stand. I don't know what it is. There must be some trauma there that I don't know about. But yeah, a bit of vegan cheese on the top. Or actually, when I first went,
Did you ever sit in a bath? Did you ever sit in a bath of baked beans for children in need or anything like that?
Honestly, I wouldn't do it for £1,000,000. Like I couldn't. Well, I have this discussion with my kids a lot. They're like, would you eat a baked bean for like £1,000,000? And I don't know if I would. Like, they honestly make me feel, the thought and sight of them make me feel sick.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
incredible.
I think there's some sort of trauma.
I just want to go back to jacket potatoes in the slow cooker. I've not heard of this.
What?
Yes. I was going to ask that.
You've
They
never
take
heard of
ages
it?
anyway.
It's like the best thing ever. If you put,
Do
you
you
can
put
like
the-
rub a bit of salt and vinegar into the skin before you put it in, and brush
Yeah.
it with a bit of oil. Stick it in the slow cooker all day. It's like it comes out tasting. I can't believe you've not heard of that.
No. Do you put it in tin foil or just in on its
Well,
own as a
I used to, but I'm kind of like, because I'm quite eco and I don't really like. I mean, my husband actually washes tin foil, but I don't anymore. You don't really need to.
No? Okay. I might give that a go.
Wow.
I mean, it might.
So
cost
literally
you-
all day, like, sorry, put them in the morning and then it's ready for tea time.
Yeah.
Wow. I can't
That's
wait.
incredible.
I've never been so excited to cook a jacket potato in my life.
I think
Amazing, right? That's Wes. We're recording our next episode next Tuesday, so if you
Right.
can, Wes, see if you can
Do
get
it.
that done over the weekend. I'll give you a bit of homework. So get it done over the weekend and report back in the next episode.
Okay,
and then
I'm on it.
let me know, like, how it went.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's incredible. So if it's not baked beans, what do you have it with then?
I'd normally vegan cheese. I'll have it with, or hummus.
Okay.
It's a good one. Slice of
Yes.
like vegan ham. Sometimes, or you can have it with like have you ever made like chickpea coronation style chicken?
No, I've done tuna.
I'm gonna.
Do you know what? I absolutely love that new tuna by Squeaky Kitchen or whatever they're called.
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm
That's
in love
great.
with that stuff.
We've
So
had that with
actually,
jacket
that would be
potato.
good in the jacket potato.
yes,
I need to try that.
we've had that in the jacket potato. It was tremendous.
Oh yeah, I've had it in a baguette.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's a good one. That is. Okay. Good. All right then. So, favorite vegan food product apart from squeaky bean tuna.
Or jacket
Oh.
potatoes.
Or
instead.
jacket-
Favorite vegan food product? Let me think. I like. Do you know? I like all. I pretty much. I'm gonna say there is probably one I really love, but nothing's like coming straight to mind. I do really like the Cathedral City cheese. That was like a game changer in the cheese market, really, wasn't it?
Oh yes, that's a good one. That.
Yeah, they're pretty good. I mean that new tuna from Squeaky is pretty top on my list at the minute, I must admit. I mean, I'm kind of like at the minute my favourite thing to eat is granola with like yogurt.
Mm.
I really like
You
that.
can't beat
And
a
I
good
put some
granola,
nuts and
can you? That's
seeds.
good.
That's
Mhm.
probably my favourite thing to eat at the minute. It's just so tasty.
I love that. Yeah,
What-
that's good.
What about your favourite vegan not food product?
Oh, okay.
So,
Like
cosmetics,
yeah,
clothing.
non.
That's whatever.
Oh, well, I really like. Do you know? I love what Viva la Vegan are doing with their clothing range. They go to a lot of the festivals, and you can sort of buy their tops there. But I've got this really cool like vegan top. But I love all their merch and stuff. So I'd probably say that. I don't really buy things like skincare or beauty products. If I was going to use anything, I'd just use like basic stuff. I make my own, and it comes from like my ethical roots, I suppose. But
Yeah.
so I'm not really into any kind of like products like that. I tend to go for like very minimalist or make my own type of stuff. But yeah, clothing, I really like that. And I do also like, from my eco roots as well, I try and buy everything secondhand if I can. So I'm not like a big consumer.
That's good.
That's fair, yeah.
That's good. Yeah.
Charity
Excellent.
shops, that's
All
the
right.
way forward.
charity shops are awesome.
Yes.
And Vinted. I love a bit of Vinted.
Yeah. Me and the wife were having a chat earlier on. There's apparently not a theory. I don't know what you'd call it, but charity shops are starting to not be that successful because of Vinted.
Oh no, really?
Apparently, yeah. There's some charity shops are struggling because Vinted is so popular.
I do sometimes. There are a couple of charity shops that charge a lot of money though, and I think
Yeah,
like I expect to go to a charity shop and pay like nothing, but sort of recently I've
Yeah.
been in them and they're like, well, maybe that's just sign of the times, but yeah.
yeah. You
Yeah, there
expect to like
was a time
buy
when
a
my
shirt
kids
for.
had never.
Sorry, say again.
There was a time when my kids had never actually had any item of new clothing. My daughter, as she's kind of like 12 now, she's starting to become a bit of a wants to go shopping in shops and actually buy. I keep nagging at her a little bit because I'm like, come on. I'm like, used to have an ethical shop. Like I hate fast fashion, but
Yeah,
I thought, when I was a teenager, I also liked going out shopping with my mates and buying clothes. So I kind of have to let her off on that, I think. But sometimes I think it's like I don't. They're both fully into veganism, like they love it. But I do worry that they're like that. Sometimes they're making sacrifices against their friends and how that impacts them. And I mean, I love to sort of chat to them about it on a regular basis. Me and my daughter, we used to do a podcast actually called Vegan Kids Podcast, where we would chat about like issues around what it's like to be a vegan kid, and all of that. So I do kind of worry about them and the sacrifices they're having to make. So I kind of let them off sometimes.
Yeah,
it's hard. It's hard being a teenager, isn't it?
Yeah.
I do vaguely remember, and yeah, I think there is some allowances that have to be made, aren't there?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I'm just learning what it's like to be a parent of a teenager. It's all starting to happen.
Oh yeah, it's so hard.
How old are your kids?
The worst thing is, it's just when you think you've got it figured out being a parent, and then all of a sudden you're a parent of a teenager, and it's all completely different. You've got to start all over again.
Yeah, I'm kind of hoping mine are going to be nice teenagers. So far, it's going okay, but yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, sure they'll be fine. There's mine are now 16, soon to be 15, and 10, and it's another world. It's a completely other world to smaller kids. But I was introduced to a book called Blame My Brain. I can't remember the author's name off the top of my head. Nicola something. I'll have a look later. But yeah, it's called Blame My Brain, and it's written for teenagers, but it's really good for adults to read it as well, so you can understand what's going on for them at the minute. Because although we were there, we also forget what it was like. And now there's a lot of things that are very different to how it used to be as well, and how they're navigating life is much different to how we navigated it. Where some of the intricacies of teenage life is the same, there's a lot of differences as well. It's fascinating, but Blame My Brain. It's really good.
I'm going to look it up.
Yes, Nicola Morgan. That is
Nicola Morgan. That's it.
Yeah.
Like the sound of it. I do like a good book recommendation.
Okay, good. Oh, sorry, I've just pressed the wrong thing on my list of questions. Here we go. Right. Favorite vegan restaurants?
Well, we're a bit unfortunate, really. Where I live, there are none. But there is one not too far away in Southampton called Cafe Thrive, and I love it there. It's kind of like junky foodish, but they've got a really comprehensive menu and really cool stuff there. It's one of those places we're probably about like 40 minutes away, so it's not the sort of, I mean, I'd love it if it was on my doorstep, but it's not the sort of place I can go to often. But if I'm ever in the area, then we're like, Cafe Thrive. My kids have like had birthdays there, and
Nice.
That's cool.
Yeah, we had them mentioned a couple of episodes back with James in Southampton. That was one of his
thought I'd heard of it.
recommendations. Yeah.
it is a good one. It is a good one.
So
Nice.
you've been nominated in this question as people's inspiration. Who are your favourite vegan people?
I've got a lot. Obviously, I'm going to return the favour to Laura and Nina. They are like, they're my vegan BF. We're vegan BFFs.
Yeah.
Oh,
I've also really admire Tim, who started Veg Fest. I do a lot of work at the Veg Fests. We run the kids areas there for him,
Yeah.
and I just really admire. You know, he's like old school vegan, been doing it a long time, tirelessly, really passionate for the animals. There's Karen, who runs the PR company Mad Promotions, I think they're
Right.
called. She does great stuff for vegans, and she's helped me in the past with stuff. There's David and Lisa from Vegan Business Tribe as well. They're really supportive,
Oh
helping
yeah.
other vegan businesses, and I love what they're doing. And also, they've really created that tribe, and I've got quite a lot of friends from there as well. So I love what they're doing as well. And then obviously locally to me as well, Daisy, who runs vegan fairs. I help her out as well at some of the markets, and I absolutely, it's one of my favourite jobs because I literally go and get to hang out with vegans for the day, and all I have to sort of do is make sure the day runs smoothly, and then I basically get to chat to vegans and eat vegan food and try out vegan products. Like, is that not just the best job in the world?
what a day!
Yeah.
I know.
Could be a lot worse, couldn't it?
Jeez.
So yeah, they're all kind of like, I mean, there might be others, and I hope I haven't forgot them, but like they're the vegans that I kind of love and admire.
Love it.
Oh,
Excellent.
Matthew's frozen. No, you haven't frozen.
Have I?
No, you're back. You had
Oh,
frozen.
right. Okay, good. All right. What advice would you give to anyone who's thinking about going vegan?
Well, obviously, do it. I think the thing is, you don't have to. I think that mentality, like, I think everyone does it differently, and that some people are very much like, oh, you have to do it overnight. But I don't think you do. Do what is going to work for you, and then don't worry if things don't go to plan. If you make a mistake, like all vegans have made at least one mistake in their vegan journey, and it's not the end of the world. It's not like it's very it's not diet. It's very different to that, and I think it's a transition, and it's such a positive thing, and just really thinking about doing what you is the way that you want to do it. So whether that's slow or whether that's overnight, but either way, however you do it, if something goes slightly wrong, don't beat yourself up. Just take it as a learning and move forward. And because the very definition of veganism is about doing the best you can. So,
Yeah.
I think there's quite a lot of, there's sometimes quite a lot of infighting, between us. You see it in social media groups between vegans, and I think like overall we should kind of just be a bit more supportive of each other and new vegans and people who are curious, and because not very many of us were born vegan, so we've all kind of made plenty of mistakes in our lives.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Kindness.
I messed up a couple of weeks ago. I've been vegan for 6 years, and I picked up the wrong jar of chocolate spread and smushed it all over.
I was shopping quite a while ago now, but I was shopping on like an ethical website, and I think I just in my brain had just forgotten it wasn't a vegan website, because I surround myself in such a vegan world, I often forget that I'm not in a vegan world.
Yeah.
And I try and I remember I saw this caramel sauce, and I was like, oh my god, vegan caramel sauce. Hit that one, and it turned up, and I was looking at it, I was thinking, oh no, that's got milk in it. Whoops.
Yeah.
Oh.
It wasn't vegan caramel sauce.
That's really frustrating, isn't it? And it's you get so angry at yourself, don't you? That's the thing. But like you say, it's just a mistake, and it's not like you've done it on purpose.
No.
I think that's the thing.
No.
If it's a mistake, that's just how it is.
Exactly. So we're at the last question. So we started this because we heard of the term dystopia, the feeling of anguish being vegan, living in a carnist world, and sometimes that can get you really down. So, do you have hope for the future?
If you'd have asked me this question like 3 years ago, I probably would have been like, "Yeah, I've got so much hope for the future." Like that, I honestly used to believe that there would be a vegan world, but I do feel like veganism is the momentum feels like it's slowing somehow, and it's quite sad because it does feel like some supermarkets are reducing their ranges now, and it doesn't seem to be as talked about as much. And veganuary used to be like Christmas, and it's
Yeah.
each year last couple of years it's been getting less, and then I'm starting to think, are enough people willing to make that change to create a vegan world? And I like to still have a little bit of hope, but I think that is kind of dwindling a little bit as I've kind of realized that people at heart are mostly selfish, I think, and greedy. And I think as our world seems to be going more towards that, it kind of fills me with a little bit of what pretty much what you just described, I guess, that whole feeling of anguish. And yeah, so I mean, I do like to be a really positive person. So I try and look on the bright side of things, but I think also realistically I'm definitely less thinking that we're going to get to a vegan world, which is a sad thought. I think the only way we will is possibly because we have to, which also is quite a high possibility. Once food famine starts, when climate change really ramps up, who knows what's going to happen, but it might end up that we end up just naturally defaulting to that because people don't have any choice. But that's not the way I'd want it to happen. I just kind of wish deep down that there was enough compassion in people to do it for the animals and for themselves, because like I say, it was the best decision for me. But fingers crossed.
Yeah.
We can hope.
Yeah.
What about you?
It is
Are you hopeful for the future?
I wasn't until Wednesday morning.
I what's the word? I sway backwards and forwards, really. Wednesday morning didn't help, but I know when we asked that question on here, there's some people that agree with what you're saying, and that's the thing that does drag us down, that pulls us that way. But then there's other people that will say stuff like about how phenomenally the movement and the range of products and stuff has grown since over the 6 years since I've been vegan alone. Where before that there wasn't really anything, and then it wasn't my fault, but when I went vegan, suddenly there was this explosion of more vegan food. So I'm like, there is something's happening, but I agree with you as well that it seems to have slowed down a bit. Whether that's, I don't know if that's the market or maybe something that we see as vegans that something's slowing. I don't know.
I think I did a poll
both ways.
In one of those vegan groups once, and I said, like, what year did you go vegan? And there was an explosion in like 2016, 2017, which is like when most of us, like new wave vegans, I suppose, did seem to transition. I think that was a lot down to like the Earthling Eds, the Cowspiracy. That was all kind of around that era, wasn't it? And maybe what happened was because of that extra push and that abnormally amount of extra people went vegan then, which then obviously led to the supermarkets catering. And now it's kind of like catch-up time where we're, the vegan curve would have been like this, but it kind of went like this, and now it's sort of more like this. I don't know. But that poll,
and I think as well, sorry,
it definitely did break down. Like after 2017, less and less people were saying they went vegan in that year. So
yeah,
yes, and I think like when you first go vegan, the initial, well, not everyone, but for a lot of people, the initial thing is, especially if you've gone from carnivore to vegan, you're just going to buy a lot of the processed stuff to replace, like a straight replacement. Well, certainly that's what I did. And then after a while, you think, I don't need that. I'll try this. I'll try, basically, I'll just eat tofu and leaves and cardboard, and that's it. And then, but then, your diet changes. And after a while, you don't need all those products because you've found a whole world of beans and things that,
Jackfruit.
Jackfruit. Yes, exactly. They're, tempeh, which I'd never even heard of until about 2 years ago. And now all of a sudden we have it.
that we've never eaten before.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And now you're eating things that you'd never even considered.
That was actually one of the things I really loved about going vegan as well, was just exploring all this new stuff, because I am a foodie. I remember someone saying to me once, how can you be a foodie and go vegan? And I was like, honestly, like, this has been like the foodie journey of my life. Like, I've discovered so much amazing stuff. But I think you're right. Like, first I was like all up for these like vegan burgers, vegan everything. Now I'm just a bit like, give me some.
I can't stand it now.
No, I like actively like go way out of my way to avoid buying like a vegan burger. Although we took the kids to Florida to Disney World this year, and it was a lot of vegan burgers over there, because it was like,
wow.
I mean,
I was going to say, what's it like there then? Because
they are quite good, but I think the issue that we were having is we were going a little bit on budget, so we were going on the quick service style eating, which is generally the vegan junk, boring stuff.
Junk food. Yeah.
Had we have been splurging out at the $200 a night restaurants, they cater for vegans, in the way that you might want to be. But I think because we were kind of eating the quick and easy stuff on a budget, then. But no, there was some. Epcot had this like food festival where you can go around the world, and there was at least sort of 15 or so vegan options, and we went round and like ate them all.
Wow,
that was great.
That's amazing.
Oh wow. Oh, we'll have to go back, Wes.
No, I'm all right.
In 4 years time, we'll go back.
I'll go down to Thrive in Southampton. I'd rather do that.
Yeah, one thing about Disney is they certainly know how to take your money.
Yes.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I remember seeing there was like a then and now picture, and there was the main road that you drive into with the sign over it, and there's the entrance fee, and it was like 50 cents in like 1950 something or whatever it was, stupid it was when it was first opened, and now it's like $30 just to get through the gate.
Yeah.
You're like,
just
oh
to park your
god,
car.
yeah, just to park your car. Yeah. No, it's insane. God bless America.
Good luck, America. That's what we're saying.
Good luck.
Listener, we're recording this in the aftermath of the presidential election, if you hadn't guessed.
We're not a political podcast, so we're not.
No, we're not. But just in case there is a future and you're listening to us in that future, somehow, in that dystopian future, then this is what life used to be like.
Oh, when we still had hope.
We haven't even got that much, have we?
No.
Imagine what it'd be like in 3 years' time. Oh, God. Happy days. What a happy note to end on. So, Dana, just to go back to the festival then, is there a long-term aim? So you mentioned how it's sort of increased in size quite a lot over the last couple of years. Do you have like a sort of capacity on your site and that's the plan, or are you going to take it to other places in the country? What's the plan?
So I actually like the more I've been doing it, and I actually like the smallness and simplicity of it. I think the first year I kind of like made a bit of a mistake in that I threw a lot at it and realised that, actually the kids just wanted to roll down the hill in a barrel. They didn't want all this expensive, costing me a fortune entertainment. And the more simplistic and wholesome and small and simple we've made it, the better it's kind of become. So I actually quite
Brilliant.
like that. Obviously, as it grows, more people hear about it and want to come to it. So, I mean, the site has capacity for 3,000. I don't know if we'd ever get that high. I'm happy if it just stays as it's kind of like, I mean, it's not my full-time job. It's a hobby, really. It doesn't make me any money. It's kind of just a passion project. And I'm happy if it just stays as it is, as long as it's not losing me money. It did the first couple of years. Like, I lost a lot of money, but I'm gradually clawing that back now, thankfully. And I think we're just kind of like now at a stage where we're fully broken even on all the years. So that's kind of a relief.
That's good.
But so yeah, I'm happy if it just stays as it is, and the people that come have a great time, and we get great feedback every year, and that's kind of motivating in itself. So I don't have any particular massive plans for it. I'm just kind of happy the way it's running, really, and want it to serve a purpose for as long as it does, and then probably I'll move on to another project, I guess. That's kind of what I see it as doing at the minute, while it's serving a purpose and while people enjoying coming, or keep putting it on.
That's the key thing. Yeah. Fantastic. Love that. Love that. Good. Well, thank you so much for joining us. And that's been really great to finally speak to you after having the other two on, talking about you and how good...
Save the best till last. Come on.
Exactly. That's it.
Yeah.
Exactly. So yeah, thank you so much, and all the best with the festival. And I did mention the website at the start, vegankidsfestival.co.uk, and then you're on Instagram, Facebook, etc. as well, aren't you?
Yeah, and you can get tickets up till the early bird kind of price up till the end of December. So if you want to save yourself a couple of pounds, you can.
Cool.
Fantastic.
There's nothing better than a hunk of prime Labrador steak, wonderfully marbled. And that is almost entirely dependent on how it's produced. Elwood's Organic Dog Meat has complete control of this entire journey. So I'm here at Elwood's farm to find out a little more about it.
Welcome to Elwood Farms.
Thank you very much, Elwood.
I hear you do a bit of barbecuing.
I do a little bit of barbecuing every now and then, yes. From a chef's point of view, consistency is key for everything.
It doesn't matter if it's a Rottweiler ribeye, a Pyrenees mince, or a Lab sirloin.
You can always tell when the dog comes from a place where it was well reared. And every step has to be right, doesn't it? Oh, you should see these guys. So, from an Elwood's point of view, there's complete traceability.
Absolutely. Unrivaled traceability, so it's fine.
Every single piece of dog meat.
Yeah, from pup to farmer's market.
Everything the dog's been fed.
Everything about it.
For each dog.
Yeah, only Marks and Spencer's and Whole Foods do this.
Where else can people order from?
From elwooddogmeat.com. That's ELWOOD dogmeat.com.
For top quality meat from dogs for people, meat that's local, sustainable, and humanely harvested, there's only Elwood's Organic Dog Meat.
They seem pretty friendly, don't they? They're more responsive to me than my kids, to be honest.
That was cool.
That was really great.
Yeah.
Lovely chat that was.
I enjoyed that.
Yeah. And a great idea to do a festival for kids. That's a real niche in the market, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
But that's something I hadn't thought about. Well, surely we've got teenage listeners.
I mean, one, have we got listeners? And two, have we got teenage listeners? Let me check the demographics.
Because
Go
I
on.
think it'd be good to hear from them.
Yeah,
Because
hold
we
on.
are all old and grumpy and bald. Bearded.
Jimmy, are you saying we don't appeal to the younger generation?
Yeah, we're not Radio 1, are we? Come on.
No, we're not. No. Our main listenership is aged between 35 and 60.
Wow.
We're Radio 2.
The Radio 2. Yeah.
Yeah. So we need...
I like to think I'm not Radio 2. I'm a bit cooler than that, and I'm 6 Music.
Oh, 6 Music. I was going to say Absolute or Radio X or something like that.
Nah.
No?
Too many adverts. 6 Music. Sometimes it's a little bit fucked up, but then sometimes it's really cool.
Oh, that sounds like us.
Yeah, exactly. We can be cool when we want to be. My first name's got a Z at the end.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, that's true.
That's how strict I am. Booyah.
I cracked a hilarious dad joke to my daughter this afternoon, and she said, "You should tell Mum that." Like, really deadpan, and I was like, "Yeah, that's not even funny. Like, cringe funny. That's just awful."
Anyway, I teased you earlier.
Yes.
So I bumped into one of the Homestart staff at work, who I'd been talking to a couple of years back about veganism. She was asking me about it and stuff, and we were chatting. And she'd mentioned then that her other half had been sort of heading towards the fence, but...
That's good. Not on the fence, but heading towards the fence.
Towards the fence. And I suggested listening to us. And she went home and she told her husband about the podcast. And when I bumped into her, she went, "You won't believe it. He's listened to every episode that you've put out. And he keeps coming to me. Wes said this the other day. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. So, hi, Ted.
Hello, Ted.
Thanks for listening. And keep
what a superstar.
You just need to make Mrs. Ted vegan now.
Yeah, push her towards the fence or pull her towards the fence. What is it? I don't know. But
I don't know.
Fantastic.
Grab her
well done, Ted.
Out the fence. Yeah.
That's tremendous.
But why don't you come on, Ted?
Come and join us. Tell us about your vegan journey.
Tell us about the last couple of years and what's been going on.
Love that.
Love
that. That does make me think, though, of something you said a while back, that you said as soon as we find someone who's listened to us and gone vegan on the back of it, we're going to stop.
Well, yeah.
Oh, God.
We're on a winner.
We're on a winner. That's it. We've done our bit. Brilliant. I love that.
Oh.
That's great. Well, on that happy note,
yes.
Why don't we say thanks very much for listening. And if you've enjoyed it, if you want to join us as a guest, then send us an email to howiveganpodcast@gmail.com, or
you could just get in touch at howiveganpodcast on Instagram. Instagram's the best one. The only one, probably, to be fair.
Instagram or Facebook, I think, which is... Do you know what? If it wasn't for this pod, I don't think I'd be on Facebook anymore. It's rubbish.
No.
I do quite enjoy Instagram when I'm not witnessing vegans arguing against vegans. But for finding recipes and stuff like that and getting sort of motivated by people's activism and stuff, it's good.
Recipes, YouTube.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a good shout. Yeah.
I mentioned it at the intro. I got a couple of recipes off of Gaz Oakley, just watching his YouTube.
Yes, of course.
So
while you were lusting over him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful man. That is a beautiful beard as well. Way better than mine.
And talking of Facebook, actually, I saw something your dear wife, our guest in episode 2, posted even.
Not the walk I was on yesterday.
Yes.
We're literally look like I'm on an EDL march.
I wasn't going to go down that route, but now you mention it, and for listeners who don't know, please can you just explain so that it definitely was not an EDL march?
It definitely wasn't an EDL march. Quite the opposite, in fact. So I
LDE march.
A what?
An LDE march, is that the opposite to an EDL march? Sorry, go on.
Why are you on tonight?
I know, sorry.
Are you on nights?
Actually, I am tomorrow. Over the weekend.
So through my work, I got invited to a suicide awareness walk of hope through Tameside in Greater Manchester yesterday. We walked around Ashton under Lyme, carrying yellow flags. There was about 30, 35 of us walking around, people engaging with people as we walked around, asking us what we were doing. And then we were stopping at certain organisations around the area, and they were giving us like a little talk about what they do to support people that are struggling with suicide or suicidal ideation.
Yeah.
Is that the right word? Suicidal tendencies and thoughts.
Yeah.
So yeah, we were just raising awareness of that. But I took a picture for our social media, and there's just me with a skinhead and a beard carrying a flag.
Yeah.
It just couldn't look wronger.
Oh God. One of those places that you went to wasn't a hotel with asylum seekers in it, was it?
No. Absolutely.
Okay, good.
No, definitely wasn't.
Good. All right. So, well, that's a really positive thing to do, to raise awareness like that and get people talking to you in the street. That's really impressive.
Yeah, it was good. What are you lot doing? Why are you carrying yellow flags around?
Yeah.
Nice.
Brilliant.
Cool.
Awesome. Well, lovely. Thanks so much for listening, everybody.
Thank you.
And I'm saying everybody like there's more than one listener. Everybody.
Yeah.
And we'll be back next time.
Bye.